My sister orchestrated a plot so my boyfriend would break up with me and get with her. I was 21 when my boyfriend asked me to marry him. He was like the brightest star in my life. We've been friends since preschool, and our families are super close. We had dinners together all the time, at his place and ours. He's an only child, but I have 2 older sisters. That's important because he was really close to them too. We grew up side by side. When we started dating, our parents were overjoyed for weeks. He helped me a ton with my worries, and even when I gained some weight and my mom got upset, he stood up for me. He said he loved me for who I am, not just how I look. He always called me the most beautiful girl in the world. We were engaged for only 6 months before things went wrong. My middle sister, let's call her Nikki, was pretty distant and cold usually. She opened up only to my boyfriend, treating him like a brother. He helped her through tough times, like fighting addiction and other things related to some of her personal problems. Nikki and I didn't see eye to eye. I loved her as my sister but didn't really like her personality. Out of nowhere, Nikki wanted to take me clubbing, something we never did together. She felt bad about being distant. I said yes and off we went. I wasn't much into clubbing, but after a few drinks, I started having fun. Everything was going well until Nikki saw a guy across the room. She went to talk to him and came back looking upset. I asked her what happened, but she didn't answer. I kept asking because I didn't want our night ruined. Finally, she said the guy wanted my number, not hers. I told her the guy was a loser and there were plenty of guys interested in her. She didn't agree. Nikki said she needed the restroom, and then we'd leave. I waited for like an hour, drinking different cocktails. I started feeling dizzy. I thought of taking a cab home since I thought Nikki had left. Leaving the club, I met one of Nikki's friends she had dated before. He asked if I needed help with my car. I told him I was getting a cab. He said he was leaving and we could share a cab. So, we left together. I tried to find my phone in my purse, but I felt really dizzy. I don't remember what happened next. I woke up the next morning on a sofa, with a terrible headache. When I woke up, I was at Nikki's friend's house. My phone was on the table, dead. He gave me some pills and water. He said I blacked out in the cab, and he didn't know where my parents lived, so he brought me to his place and let me sleep on the sofa. I told him I needed to go home because my boyfriend would be worried. He got me a cab, and I went back home. But when I arrived, my parents, Nikki, my boyfriend, and his parents were all there. I thought they were concerned, but my boyfriend accused me of something awful. Apparently, Nikki told him that I cheated. I tried to explain, but he wouldn't listen. He yelled about how I could cheat on him. I was so confused. I tried telling the truth, but no one let me finish. Nikki said I was lying and being heartless to someone who supported me. She said I flirted with random guys and left with her friend. I told her my side, but she showed me a picture where her friend's hand was on my back as we left. I didn't even notice his hand because I was so drunk. My boyfriend was furious, yelling, his mom and my mom were crying. I asked Nikki to call her friend, but he said something different. He said we slept together multiple times. I was angry at Nikki for setting this up. I begged my boyfriend to believe me, but he left. After everyone left, my mom yelled at me and kicked me out. I stayed at a friend's place for a few nights. I tried calling and texting my boyfriend and family, but they ignored me. I got a message from my mom saying hurtful things and that I was kicked out. She didn't let me take my things. I was homeless and alone within a day and a half. My family sided with my mom and my boyfriend. I called my boyfriend countless times, but he never responded. My mom told me my family celebrated Christmas in another state without me. I felt so hurt seeing their happy photos. I cried for days before blocking them all. I even returned my engagement ring. A friend helped me find a job and a cheap place to live a few hours away. I wanted to start over, away from the pain. I moved fast, saved money, and now I'm an assistant manager at the restaurant where I started. It's been around 2 years since then. I haven't talked to my family. One day, my ex-boyfriend showed up. I was surprised and overwhelmed with feelings. But I remembered the pain and tried to close the door. He stopped it and asked to explain. He said Nikki confessed that she lied because she found someone she loved. She realized her mistake. He found me through my friend. He said my family and he wanted to see me. I said I needed time to decide about having them in my life again. He left, and now I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I can't forgive Nikki, but my other family and my ex didn't know she lied. I feel like they abandoned me too quickly without letting me explain. I'm not sure if I should forgive them. My sister orchestrated a plot so my boyfriend would break up with me and get with her. Update. So, I didn't reconnect with my ex-boyfriend. I felt pretty lost. But somehow, he got my number to my parents, and they texted me about meeting up. I didn't reply, and I thought of arranging a Zoom call, but they surprised me by showing up at my door. Well, my dad did. When I saw him at the door, I got so nervous that I threw up. He insisted on helping clean up. After that, we talked. I couldn't help but cry, my feelings were all over the place. My dad wore the same cologne he always did, and it brought back memories. He tried to hug me, but I pushed him away and asked why he was there. He explained that he and my mom were getting a divorce. He told my mom to contact me as soon as I left, but she said I was acting like a baby and could handle things on my own after what I did. I asked when they noticed I was gone. He said they came home after New Year's Eve, planning to talk things out, and that's when they found out from my friend that I left and she didn't know where I went. I asked why they didn't listen to my side and why they let me go so easily. He started crying, saying he never meant for things to get so messed up, and he wished he could take it all back. I asked him why they treated my sister differently when she was struggling with drugs and alcohol. He said he didn't know my mom would kick me out, he thought it would be a short time, but they ended up going out of state for Christmas. My mom told him I'd be allowed back after they got home, but she lied about throwing away my stuff. I wondered about my sister, and he said he wanted nothing to do with her, but my mom cried about her health and said they couldn't lose another daughter. He blocked my mom and sister and helped my ex-boyfriend find me. He promised not to visit without my permission. We talked about how hurt I was, and I let out everything. We both cried, and it felt like a weight lifted off my chest. He offered to help me find a better apartment and a job, but I wanted to stay in. My current job is a way to repay my boss for his help. I told him I didn't want his help, but I did want to reconcile on my own terms. It will take a while to trust him again, if ever. He said he'd do whatever it takes to make things right. I asked him why Nikki did what she did. Turns out, she wanted my ex-boyfriend to be happy and thought he deserved better. She loved him like a brother, so she wanted to end the engagement. She asked her friend to take me out of the club so she could get photos and make her plan work. She said nothing more happened, just sleeping on the sofa. He was playing video games all night, which he has proof of. My dad planned to get my stuff from my mom's house, but I didn't want those things anymore. I called Nikki's husband and spilled everything. I honestly felt bad. I went deep into her drug and alcohol problems and just wanted to ruin everything for her. He was confused but not angry. Turns out, Nikki caused problems between him and his sister too, and he knew she wasn't innocent. I've decided to reconcile with my dad, as he's putting his foot down and divorcing my mom, and cutting ties with Nikki. I doubt I'll reconcile with my mom, as she's still defending Nikki. I haven't met my ex-boyfriend yet, but I plan to soon. My dad suggested he come along, but my ex said it might be overwhelming. He told my dad to come alone. My ex-boyfriend was arrested for assaulting Nikki's friend who lied about everything. Charges were dropped later.